Good morning, brothers and sisters, and happy Sunday to you. I hope you had a pleasant weekend. Happy New Year to each of you. May the Almighty grant you grace, shower you with favors and blessings, guide and protect you in this new year and every day of yours. The theme we are going to develop this morning is entitled, When God Hides Us. When God hides us. To hide means to hide from view. To hide is to keep from being seen. To hide is to be veiled. Let us know how to detect when God hides us to avoid any confusion. To detect is to discover. It is to let see. God always hides his true children. Sometimes he makes us slaves, prisoners, outcasts, left behind. Men and women who go unnoticed, despite their potential, despite the gifts and talents that the Almighty has instilled in them. God has the secrets of success in all things. God is master of all circumstances. God can hide us for his glory. He can hide us in order to put us back on the path of our destiny. He can hide you in this home, in this relationship, in this place of service, and you will see that despite your good performances, despite your good ideas, despite your efforts, you will be veiled in the eyes of many people, in the eyes of those around you. But at the same time, you will be enveloped by an oil of graces, an oil of favors, an oil of greatness, and you will be exclusively recognized by those who are sons and daughters of God. What I'm trying to explain this morning is that we should not be surprised that good numbers do not accommodate your presence, that good numbers do not align with your projects. Do not be surprised that many find and think that you are good for nothing, despite your skills, despite the fact that we are even the emanation of the glory of God. This is why they discourage us most of the time in what we do or in what we want to do. And it is obvious, despite your contribution to this home, to this society, to this enterprise, to this corporation, to this family, despite all your contribution to the lives of those you help all day long, you will never be seen by them. You will not be recognized your fair value. On the contrary, those around you who benefit from your talents will rather uplift and support those who do not even reach your ankle. You will see that no one comes to your defense. No one will pay attention to you despite your devotion, despite all your devotion, despite your good grades, despite your loyalty. In fact, it is God's plan for your life. It is the letter that veils the eyes of those around you. They cannot contain your grace. It is not, in fact, through this that the glory of God must be manifested for you and in your life. This is why God veils these people, for them not to see your greatness, your star. Eventually, you will leave this business, you will leave this home. This relationship without love, without consideration will end. They can't contain you. This situation is only God's plan for your life. He hides you. God usually hides us from those who do not have the capacity or the disposition of heart to support us, to put us forward, to uplift us. But few can discern that, simply because the flesh takes precedence over the spirit most of the time. In fact, God fights for you, brothers and sisters. He fights for each of us. God fights for you. He hides you from the eyes of many people simply because they will not live up to your grace, to the grace that God has put in you. This is what happened in Joseph's life to emerge. He had to be sought by his jealous brothers. It took jealous brothers for Joseph to succeed. And Joseph was sought. That's why many will reject you, humiliate you, put you down. In fact, all these methods are allowed by the Almighty in order to preserve your destiny, in order to bring you closer to the destiny He has planned for you. So He hides you. That's why you suffer rejection. That's why you go unnoticed in front of people who can raise in society, because you have gifts, you have many talents, but they don't see you. And when that happens, you might get carried away, thinking it is curse, it is bad luck, etc. No, my brother, no, my sister. It is God who hides you. He has a plan for you. He reserves for you the best. the greatest. For only God leads us into green pastures. He is the good shepherd for every child of God. He knows what is good for us. He sees everything in advance, even when our life is wearying, even when blockages surround us everywhere, even when situations escape us. Let us keep a cool head. The Almighty never abandons His children. And if the promise tarries, as Habakkuk said, wait there. This promise will surely be fulfilled. When the Lord promises tarry, let us always know that He is preparing us for something greater, where we will be spared headaches. God's plans, when it is accomplished in our life, all those who rejected us yesterday, who despised us, quickly understand that we were a star. Yes, we were a star in the midst of darkness. God is Alpha and Omega. He is the worker of infathomable greatness. He is the worker of infathomable magnitude, or impossible things to explain by a human being like me. And to manifest His glory and His omnipotence, He can go through non-comforting situations to manifest His glory and His blessings in our lives. Isaiah 45 verse 7 states, I form light and I create darkness. I give prosperity and I create adversity. I, the Lord, do all things. Another way to let us understand that He is sovereign in all things. Only the rising sun or the setting sun, let it be known that there is no one other than the Almighty God. The Lord can therefore pass through darkness according to His divine goodwill, knowing that we would like to raise us later. Yes, knowing that He would like to raise us later. And this because He would like us to be solidified. He wants to strengthen our faith in Him. He would like us to be totally depending on Him. He wants us to depend totally on Him. And we must develop the ability to detect this, to understand such a phenomenon, so as not to be discouraged or remain in useless confusion. We sometimes go through humiliations, misery, dryness, simply because the Almighty hides us. Sometimes misfortune helps us to improve ourselves, to reconnect with it, with the Almighty, to put ourselves back on God's plan. The latter hides us from the eyes of human beings, to prepare us not to miss our destiny. God hides us because He sees everything before us. He wants to remove us from the reductive plans of men. That's why you might not get that visa you want this year. You might not get this or that you crave right now. Instead of cursing heaven and earth, know that God is hiding you because you are not yet ready. You will get what your heart desires, but in God's time. You will have your visa. You will go. You will eventually travel to a real country for the glory of God and the pride of your family. So don't be in a hurry. Be strong. Take courage. God's timing is the best. The letter will use new methods, original methods, to protect us, to save us from the plans of men. Sometimes we wonder why this is happening to me when I had the ins and outs. Why am I not receiving any merit despite my integrity, this faithfulness? Why does my project fail to materialize, fail to take off, when all of this is due to God's plan in our life? So stop cursing your boss, or that friend, or that brother, or that sister who does not want to help you, who does not even look at you. Stop running after those who don't even help you. Stay in your place. It is God who hides you from these people. God knows why. They may not have the stuff to support your grace or to guide you. This is why God is going to veil their eyes. It is years later that they will say, if I had known. That's how life is. Moreover, the Bible declares in Proverbs 14, verse 12, that such a way seems to be right to a man, but its end is the ways of death. We often think that we are on the right path. It is my marriage. It is my house. This is my husband. This is my wife. This is my ideal business in life. This is what will make my life to take off. When it is not God's plan, it is not God's will for us. And you will see that at the last minute, things will not turn out as you thought, simply because God hides you. When the will of God is to be accomplished, even obstacles will become advantages for you. So don't get discouraged. Stay in faith in the Almighty God. Even when darkness darkens your whole being, for the Almighty can pass through a time of darkness in order to glorify us and restore our destiny. Moses was hidden in a calabash and was thrown into the river. Our King of Glory, Yeshua Mashiach, was hidden from Herod in order to escape a programmed death. Joseph was sought by his brothers. He went through prison and suffering because God had a plan for his life. And it was his destiny, the perfect canvas, to finally see the glory of God in his life. Certain situations fall on us, and at this precise moment we despair in God. We say to ourselves, God has abandoned me. God has forgotten me, when all this is only God's plan in our life. This is the reason why some close doors to us, some discourage us, but all this is God's will for us. Instead of complaining, instead of resenting those who leave us, or those who see no importance in us despite our many efforts, despite our talents, despite our intelligence, we must remain firm and faithful to God, while knowing that there is a time for everything under the sun, a time to face trials, a time to enter and experience God's destiny of glory in our lives. Abraham, the father of faith, went from a childless man at some point in his life to a father of many. We must never lose faith. And the Almighty is master of all circumstances. He hides us constantly to accomplish his plan in our life. When the situation presents itself to us, we must know how to analyze it without emotions, because God can go through a disappointment, through a failure, to raise us. We must remain worthy and always have complete confidence in God, because He knows where He is leading us, and never He fails. It is not because you do not yet have a job, a travel, a marriage, that you will lose faith and trust in God. With Him, a few seconds, everything can change. Most of the time, the letter hides us to protect us from obstacles and pitfalls. His time is not ours, and His time is always the best. The time when even obstacles become advantages. So let us be wise, dignified, and matured. The Almighty is in control, despite the messages sent here and there by everyday life. The righteous must live not by sight, not by circumstances, but only by faith, unwavering faith in God. Good Sunday and good start to the week. This is the theme we had to develop this morning. Thanks.